So here's a bit of disappointing news for everybody. It turns out that Donald Trump's lies about being, politically targeted by Biden, that this whole indictment and ongoing investigations, they're nothing more than election interference. According to the latest polls, it might actually be working. Because the latest polls show us that 24% of Republicans have now said they're actually more likely to vote for Donald Trump after he was indicted on 37 counts in the documents case. 21% of Republicans say that they were more likely to vote for Donald Trump after he was indicted on the 34 counts in the Manhattan case. So he is facing 71 different counts for the two separate indictments, and almost a quarter of Republicans say this makes me more likely to vote for this man because he's been indicted. The poll goes on to show us that 10% of Republicans say that if he is convicted, a conviction will make them more likely to vote for Donald Trump. 10% of Republicans say that Trump being a felon versus Trump not being a felon makes them more likely to support him. Like, I would rather vote for a felon Trump than a non-felon Trump. Just in case you thought for a second we were dealing with a rational party filled with grown-ups. We are not. We are dealing with a party of crazy. In fact, you can't even call it a party of crazy. I think that's unfair. We're dealing with a cult, because this is what cult followers do. They think that any kind of bad thing happening to their leader is somehow some grand conspiracy to take him out. 80% of Republicans in this poll believe that all of the charges against Donald Trump were politically motivated. A majority of American voters as a whole believe that the charges against Trump were politically motivated, according to this poll. That is a horrifying number, folks. Those of us who can take a step back, who have looked at all of this rationally, put our hatred of Donald Trump aside, it's very obvious what this man did, especially with the documents case, right? Like, that one's not even open for interpretation. He had the documents, he's on tape bragging about having the documents, waving them around in the air. Most likely, I can't say he did it because, he hasn't been convicted, but come on. Like, a normal person's gonna look at all that and be like, oh, yeah, come on. But here's the thing I wonder. So far, the indictments against Donald Trump have either been a little confusing, like the Manhattan ones. The average person doesn't quite understand the workings of those because it is rather complicated, or they've been kind of mundane, right? Like, oh, he had documents, but Biden had documents, Pence had documents, the Clinton's cat had documents, I think Trump said. So they think like, well, that's not a big deal. The Manhattan one's not a big deal because I don't understand it. So what happens when he gets hit with the other indictments? Because we got news from Fani Willis this week that, hey, he's going to be indicted. Probably by September 1st, so got a month and a half to wait, but he's going to be indicted in Georgia. And those are pretty serious, right? Election interference, that's a big one. Jack Smith is most likely going to indict him for attempting to overturn the results of the 2020 election, an extension of what he did in Georgia. That's another big one. So are these poll numbers going to hold up? Because if they do, then there's no hope for this country at all. Sorry, there's just not. But if the poll numbers finally start reflecting, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't back a criminal, then maybe there is hope. But it's one of those things, gonna have to wait and see. But I'm really not optimistic that Americans are gonna understand the severity of what Donald Trump has done and why that should make him completely 100% unqualified to ever hold a political office ever again. Thanks for watching, everyone, and well, here comes the awkward part at the end of the video where I ask you to like, comment, and share, and subscribe for more content from Ring of Fire. Also, you should consider becoming a member for some exclusive content and perks, including early access videos and exclusive videos. Check out the link in the description.